Hello YouTube, this is Charisma. This is my healing journey. Wow, I'm so proud of myself. I've managed to stay consistent on YouTube. This is my third video in a row. Um in 3 days. I'm doing this to spread awareness. The people who don't understand, who have no point of reference for the level of abuse, people, of abuse survivors, whether that be sexual, psychological, physical, childhood, you're not going to understand. I'm doing this for the voiceless though. I'm telling my story for people who are too afraid to tell their story for a lot of the reasons I've mentioned in previous videos. And I just want to get something off my chest. I'll probably be at this forever at these videos because the stories is endless. But like, comment, and subscribe for more because there needs to be a safe space for people who've been through what I've been through. It needs to be a safe space. So so as you can see from the title, my mother was my first abuser. Yep, my mother. And, everybody talks about the father wound, having an absentee father, but I had that too. My dad died when I was 4, but under tragic circumstances. But I never had a mother because the way her and my father didn't know each other like that. She got pregnant with me like 3 months into them knowing each other. And then, she says, I don't know the full story. All I know is that I believe her because my grandfather kind of said the same thing when he was living, that my father didn't treat her right. Like he would neglect her as she got pregnant with me. Like he wouldn't buy food. They had a place together. He wouldn't buy food. He stayed gone for weeks at a time, days on end. She didn't have no maternity clothes, so nothing. So when she was 8 months pregnant with me, she left from Indianapolis, and some stranger at the Greyhound station like bought her a ticket, and that's how she went back to New York, had me. And all I know is that she had me, and then 8 weeks later she went to jail, and my father and my grandfather, my grandmother was living at the time, they sent for me and they had me all the way up until she got out of prison, I was about 2 years old. And then she decides she wants me back. And family members said they didn't feel like it was a good idea, but what can you do? They didn't really have legal custody of me. So if she wanted me back, why not? I wasn't with her not even 3 months, and CPS was called. And, all I know is that my grandpa told me that she had told them that I had got taken away from them. She had ended up getting locked up. And then she refused to tell them where I was at. I was like, where's she at? Where's she at? Where's Charisma? And she wouldn't tell them where I was at. So they had to hire a private investigator. They found that I was in the foster care system back in Albany, New York. They took the car all the way from Indianapolis to Albany, New York, and drove and got me. All my grandpa says is that when they got me, when they sent me to her, I had a head full of hair. I was a happy baby. They got me 3 months later. All my hair had fell out. I was shaking. I had on rags. I had, lost weight. I just wouldn't stop shaking. And to this day, when I get really, really nervous, I shake. My hands shake. I start shaking, like my whole body shakes all over when I get really scared and I get really nervous to this day. So that's probably where that came from, when whatever happened. So let's fast forward about, I'm 27 years old. My grandpa's dead at this time. I have no more family. The family on my father's side my father's long gone at this time. The family on my father's side, I have an aunt left at this point. I have a cousin and a couple other, lots of other family in the city, but they don't want nothing to do with me. They don't like me. They don't mess with me. I'm an outcast. I'm a black sheep, for a lot of different reasons that I'll get into in later videos, but they just abandoned me, period. So I'm like, oh wow, I never really missed having a mother, but then, and I was just so deeply lonely, so deeply just felt so isolated. I was like, wow, I do have a mother. Why don't I hire a private investigator and find my mother? Let's see what's up. And I wasn't even thinking about, I just wanted to get to know her. I just wanted to know, because there is an empty space you don't know nothing about. I've never even seen or have any memory or sort of recollection about the woman who gave me birth, who gave birth to me. So yeah, I was curious, but I just honestly, I had this fantasy. It was a pure fantasy that once I met her, everything would be okay and we would live happily ever after, and I would have family, and I wouldn't have to worry about nothing else no more. The woman I came face to face with when I found her, and the private investigator told me they had found her, I rushed to New York. I got a plane and I went on the plane and met her. And she seemed afraid of me. She seemed afraid, nervous, you know. And, but I mean, the first visit was good, you know. It, we smoked a lot of weed. I think, no, I wasn't smoking with her, but I would bought her a lot of weed. She seemed to want to stay high. She told me her version of events of the story. Oh, I gave you away. I didn't want you to be hungry. I didn't want you to starve. I didn't know what to do. I didn't, and come to find out, she had been raped, molested a lot in her life. She, from a very early age, in foster care, people basically selling her and prostituting her as a child, So she honestly, that made her lose her mind. I know it made her lose her mind because she's severely mentally ill, schizoaffective disorder, which for those who don't know, that's bipolar and schizophrenia at the same time. So, she was very erratic. I could tell that after a while, I could just tell she couldn't take my presence. Like, she was doing everything she could to push me away. And, she would say, you've just come for me. You wanted to come find me for revenge. You want revenge on me. And I couldn't understand what she was talking about. I don't know. Revenge on what? I know you gave me away. I forgive you for that. I'm trying to start over fresh. And over a period of 7 years, the truth finally came out that, when she got me back that second time, she was beating me. She was molesting me. She admitted that to me, that she molested me, or she would give me baths and she would molest me. And she told me in a very cruel way. She told me in a flippant way and laughed about what she had done and things like that. And that really set me on the deep end. That really put me on the deep end for a long time. I became deeply depressed. And just anger, just so much anger, ended up, honestly, after she told me that, it caused this domino effect. That's, just ended up losing my apartment, ended up having to go to another place, and just my life it just took this nosedive after she told me she had molested me, because I couldn't deal with the pain of what she had told me. It was a lot of pain. It was a lot to deal with. It was so much to deal with. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I'm still dealing with it to this very day, because after that happened about 3 or 4 years ago. And after that, just in survival mode ever since. So, I'm just now starting to deal with it fully, and just now understanding that, this is not only from what she told me, but the things that I went through and the molestations and the abuse and the rapes that I can remember. And I'm just now at a point where I can finally process it. And it does not feel good, and it hurts. It hurts really bad. But I'm at a point where I'm willing to face that pain. I feel like I'm not exactly where I want to be. It's a lot of healing that I got to do. But at the same time, I'm done being ashamed of it, because that brought me deep shame. I was ashamed of her telling me that she molested me. I was ashamed, as if I had molested myself. No, but I don't know why that's what I've always done my whole life. When somebody does something bad to me, I take on that shame that really is theirs to bear. I take on that shame and I think, oh, they did it because I'm a bad person. That there's no other ways that someone could do something like that unless I somehow innately deserved it. And I've been fighting that, that false narrative very strongly lately. That's why I resist so tough when people try to bully me and harass me, because I'm tired of believing the lie that I somehow innately deserve the abuse. And I'm speaking out on it because a lot of times when you've been through this type of deep-seated trauma, there is no outlet. There is no one to talk to. There is no one to go to. There is no one who understands. And so you remain quiet and you lose your voice in the process. So I'm trying to give a voice to all the years that I was voiceless, to all the years that I took abuse because that's all I knew. That was the only point of reference I had. I thought that this was my lot in life. Like, you can just do anything you want to do with me. I had no concept that I could say no. I had no concept that I can resist, because every time I had tried, mainly family members like my aunt or my cousin, they were the facilitators of a lot of the abuse. So of course they're not going to, justify and say that, oh no, it's wrong what we're doing to you. Of course they're going to try to make it seem like it's my fault, because they're the main perpetrators and allowing other people to abuse me as well. So of course. But now I'm at a point where I'm tired of being silent. There's purpose. There's got to be purpose in this. There's got to be purpose in all this pain I've been through. It has to be. It can't just, I'm just not a body of pain and abuse, and then that's the end of my story. There's got to be more to it. And I'm going to use my voice. Whatever that looks like, I'm going to use it. And yes, my very first abuser was my mother. And obviously I don't have contact with her anymore. It took 7 long years to break free from her, because it was continuous emotional and psychological, her putting me in harm's way for the 7 years that I knew her. So I finally made the decision for my own mental health that I was going to cut contact with her, because she's not healthy. She's not willing to heal. She doesn't want to heal. She wants to stay in the place that she's at. So in order to save myself and rescue myself, I had to come to the realization that my mother is not capable of loving me. She's not capable of being what I need from her. So I'm not mad at her. Even after what she told me she did, I'm still not mad at her. I honestly still empathize with her. I do. But for my own peace, for my own prosperity, I've had to disconnect, and it will be permanent. I have no intentions of ever reaching out to her ever again. That's just my boundary. But yeah, that is the story of a little piece of what I've gone through. And I'm not on here trying to, have a sob story. I just literally have no friends. I literally have no one to turn to or talk to. So yeah, I am talking. I'm using this platform and use my voice because I know there's other survivors out there who've been through the same thing. I know. And I want to validate their stories too. Like, I want them to feel validated, because that's the hardest thing in the world when you've been through this type of pain. Like, you feel like you alone and like nobody else has been through what you have been through, and you're just this dirty, ugly being that, wow, I'm a mistake. I shouldn't have been born. Like, but I'm still fighting through that. I'm fighting through the low self-esteem and the feelings of shame and guilt. I still fight through it every day, but I need help. Maybe I need help. Maybe I'm not where I want to be in my journey, but I know that I can't keep holding this all inside. I can't keep holding it all inside, and I definitely don't feel like I should be ashamed to tell what has happened. And I pray and hope to God that He heals me. So, yes, thank you so much for taking the time out. If you've made it this far to listen to my story, once again, my name is Charisma. This is my healing journey. And please, like, comment, subscribe, engage me on this platform. I really appreciate it. It really means the world to me. Thank you. God bless you.